And good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to the Atomic Snack Bar. And tonight we'll be starting what I hope to be a new series here on the channel where I will be discussing a random handful of films that feature stop motion not by the great Ray Harryhausen. And first up we have Jack the Giant Killer from 1962. Directed by Nathan Zeiram, Jack the Giant Killer is a fantasy adventure film loosely based on the Jack the Giant Killer tale, and some might say heavily based on Ray Harryhausen's The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. And it tells the story of an evil wizard by the not-so-evil sounding name of Pendragon, who, along with his followers, was banished to an uncharted island. He's not too happy about that. So when the only wizard keeping Pendragon at bay dies, the sorcerer returns for some revenge against the kingdom that banished him. A dancing jester from a music box, a gift for the princess, turns into a giant not at all like the Harryhausen Cyclops and kidnaps said princess. A local farmer named Jack comes to her rescue, and so grateful is the king, Jack is made a knight and the princess's protector. And that goes great for about 15 minutes. The princess is kidnapped again and turned into an evil witch. Once again, Jack has to go to her rescue. And this one is slam full of really charming stop-motion creatures. They're definitely a bit on the friendly-looking side, much like the giant claw. I mean, you just want to hang out with these guys. But it's that cartooniness that allows the film to stand apart from its direct influence, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Director Nathan Zeiram said that producer Edward Small wanted Jack the Giant Killer to be as close to The Seventh Voyage as possible, even going as far as hiring the same director, leading man, and villain, Nathan Zeiram, Kerwin Matthews, and Torrin Thatcher. And some of the creatures featured in the film are the jester-turned-giant, a sea monster, a two-headed giant, and a dragon-like creature. And bonus, this one features a stop-motion monster fight. It's not an exceptionally long battle, but just look at the sea monster pimp slap the two-headed monster like he was me when I can't pay my donut bill. Then a stop-motion dog jumps into the mix. Gotta admit, that's pretty cool. And the stop-motion was done by the effects team behind The Time Machine, which featured some truly impressive names, including Jim Danforth, Gene Warren, and the great Hua Chang of Star Trek fame, having designed the tricorder and the communicator. Jim Danforth's work can be seen on When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, Clash of the Titans, and one of the truly standout episodes of The Outer Limits, The Zantine Misfits. Next up is Zeiram from 1991. Directed by Keita Amemiya, Zeiram, as they pronounce it in the dub, is a Japanese sci-fi creature feature. And it tells the story of Iria and her AI companion Bob.
Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina.
Iria is a well-dressed, tough-as-nails alien bounty hunter who has come to Earth to capture another well-dressed alien, the shape-changing Zeiram. In order to do so, Iria creates a zone, a pocket dimension of sorts, in order to catch the creature. Unfortunately, two lovable but bumbling electric company employees accidentally end up within the zone along with the bounty hunter and her target, and thus the two end up teaming up with Iria to take down the powerful alien monster. This one features some fantastic effects ranging from suitmation to puppets to stop motion as Zeiram goes through several different forms. Though I will admit, there's only a small amount of stop motion in the film, but what's there is very cool, and I just wanted an excuse to talk about it. Background info is pretty light on this one. I wasn't able to find who was directly responsible for the stop motion, but Hiroshi Onodera is credited as the effects supervisor. Onodera also worked on Moon Over Tao, which is another great low-budget Japanese sci-fi film, as well as multiple Heisei Godzilla movies, including Godzilla vs. Destroyer. And according to a couple of different unverifiable sources, director Amemiya himself designed Zeiram. The film star Yuko Moriyama did several cool movies, including the aforementioned Moon Over Tao and the Reborn from Hell films, which are highly recommended if you can find them. Great supernatural-based samurai exploitation films. Moriyama actually got her start in a contact lens commercial. And speaking of interesting cast members, as Zeiram we have Mizuho Yoshida, who played Godzilla in Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. Zeiram was released in the US in 1994 under the same title, just without the I. It would go on to receive a sequel, which is also quite good, an animated prequel, and a video game. Interestingly, the anime is probably better known in the West than the films, due to it being aired on the Sci-Fi Channel. But Zeiram is a really fun little film. That is, unless you have a fear of hats, then you might want to avoid it. And last on the list we have Ghoulies II from 1987. Directed by Albert Mann and released by the Great Empire Pictures, Ghoulies II is a mini monster creature feature in my favorite set of little monsters that came in the wake of Gremlins. And it tells the story of the titular Ghoulies, a group of fun-loving little creatures who stow away on a carnival truck and soon find themselves hiding out in an awesome-looking funhouse known as Satan's Den. And being the charismatic little stars that they are, the attraction becomes a hit. The only real drawback being that the Ghoulies are actually taking out the locals. But it's a small price to pay, really. And in good B-movie fashion, the upper management, of course, does not believe there's any danger. Much like Zeiram, there is very little stop motion in this one. But it's such a cool little movie, it deserves a spot on the list. And said stop motion was handled by stop motion great David Allen, who has quickly become a fixture of the channel due to his work on films such as The Dungeon Master, Dolls, Laser Blast, and the greatest movie about evil yogurt ever made, The Stuff. And because it bears repeating once again, go watch The Primevals. As far as the Ghoulies design goes, that would be credited yet another fixture of the channel, the true unsung hero of B-movies, director and effects master John Carl Buechler. Buechler brought his effects wizardry to films such as Troll, Dinosaur Island, and Carnosaur. Ghoulies 2 has a great cast, including Royal Dano and one of my all-time favorite actors, Phil Fondacaro of The Dungeon Master, Willow, and the John Carl Buechler directed Troll. An interesting thing about Troll, Phil played both a good guy and the lead villain in the film. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Troll is a wonderful, quirky little fantasy film that gets unfairly overshadowed by its infamous sequel. And I've probably been talking about Troll for way too long, considering this segment is about Ghoulies 2. But hey, no one's watching this monkey show anyways. But back to Ghoulies 2. This was the final film in the series to be produced by Charles Band. He ended up selling the franchise to Vestron in order to help keep Empire afloat. And that's all the time we have for this weekend. Before we go, I wanted to ask Phil what he thinks about me as a YouTube host.
Your manners are so apish.
Is it because I copied your style? I mean, you gotta admit, it's a pretty great hat. Please like, comment, subscribe, watch the skies, and stay atomic. Oh, and if you're on mobile, do that hype thing. I don't know if it actually helps, but it can't hurt.
Konnichiwa, お尻に火がつく面白さ、スーパーマリオブラザーズ4、スーパーファミコンでついに登場。